Alright, the last thing I want to do is give my wood part some wooden texture. So I've gone to the library and brought textures wood into my resource browser. Again, I can go to Vectorworks Libraries, and then I can go to Textures, Textures Wood, and bring them into my resource browser. Now I can drag and drop a wood texture on each one of my pieces. And I'm going to do that first, and then I'll go back and do some editing on the textures. So with the Object Info palette, when I select my part, I'll choose Render. And I've got some different editing options here. One is I can change the rotation. So this is how you can change the orientation of the wood grain. I can also scale in or scale out. So if I want to see smaller scale or make the grain a little smaller, I can do that. If I want to see more of the grain, make the grain larger, I can increase the scale. There are different types of mapping, the way the resources or the texture is mapped or applied. It will usually choose default. If it's a solid that's not a regular solid, it'll default to perimeter. You can play around with these, see what plane looks like. Auto plane align. This is more for a sphere, so it doesn't look good on our shape. I'm going to go back to perimeter. I'll select the leg. First thing I want to do is rotate so I get more vertical grain in the legs. Let's see if I can, there we go. Now if I want to have vertical grain all the way here, there's no way to have different grain directions in one item. I would have to split it here and then rotate the grain for this part here. Lastly, I'll rotate my leg so that I have some vertical grain. I'll zoom around to the back, see how I like that. But notice how I have vertical grain here and side grain on the side. Let's see if I can change that to plane, what that looks like, and then rotate there. So that doesn't help matters. Auto align plane. So that's helping me out a little bit, at least on the back part of the leg, that whatever shape my grain is taking on the front, the side grain matches. So in this case, I might choose side grain, at least for this part. Again, if I want to have this grain rotated in a different way, I may have to split this object. I can still have them touching, so they'll look like one object. They'll be right next to each other, but they'll actually be split into two different objects, and then I can rotate the grain pattern at that point. If I want to see about what my seat might look like with some sort of texture, I'll go back to the library and textures and see if there are any kind of interior finishes, or let's bring that into our resource browser. And we may not have fabric, but there might be a carpeting or a something that I can drop on there. There's some blue denim, some dark purple fabric, some black leather. Let's see what that looks like. So again, I just drag and drop. It's got a bit of a pattern. That's not so bad. And I can drag and drop on my seat cushion. Oops, I got the seat and not the cushion. Let me try that again. I'm going to have to move around a little bit so I can get a better crack at that seat cushion. I'll deselect everything, see if that helps me. Let's see if the front view will help me. I may have to put the seat in a class and turn it off so that I don't. There we go. Ah, I missed it again. Right where I'm really struggling. Let me try one last rotation. Otherwise, I might have to. There we go. All right. I now have my seat. It's got wood texture. It's got a cushion with some leather texture, a curved back, a curved seat, a cushion that nestles in there, and some curved laminated legs that also have tapers on them.